Hello there everyone, my name is Sam Scrollo and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now in this video we're going to talk about this anticipated break and that everybody is screaming right now, long Bitcoin, we're going to all-time high, this is the reversal, the bottom was in, etc. So I decided to just be this realistic guy, and that's why you guys love me so much, that I really want to take it apart piece by piece and bit by bit and take a look whether this is a real breakout and whether you should be betting on this as a real breakout and whether you should be longing Bitcoin, etc. And of course we're going to make conclusions based on not us being Bitcoin bulls but us being, proper analysts. And yeah, so first we're going to take a look at some important news that came out that I think are relevant right now, and then we're going to get to price targets and technical analysis and all the important stuff you have to pay attention to at this point. So if you're interested in all of that, hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so that you're always notified when I make a new upload. As remember guys and girls, you have to watch these videos as soon as they come out and from the very beginning and until the very end because they're jam-packed with useful information. I know they take some time, so always go down below in this video. There is actually an ability for you to speed it up to like 1.5 speed, so you watch the whole thing but you spend less time, and you're welcome for that tip. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. And before we talk about this beautiful breakout, let's quickly go over the news, something that I think is relevant, and let me know that in the comments right now whether you actually enjoy these kinds of news updates as well, or you're just interested in technical analysis, targets, trades, etc., or you actually want to know what's going on in the world in the macro space as well as fundamentals. So let me know whether I should be covering these things or not, because they take a lot of time to research to put it out there. So thing number one is that Celsius Network completely paid off its Bitcoin loan and liquidation price hit zero. So that's very good news that, Celsius actually managed to deleverage the system, basically, so to speak, and they got off leverage. And this is very good because with all these cascading liquidations, what we're seeing right now is basically when there is so much leverage in the system, you have to clear it out. So, and this is what's happening, and it's good. So, and now that the firm has reclaimed its collateral from Maker, users will be at the edge of their seats hoping for the platform to resume its activities. So we're going to see what's going to happen, but this is at least some kind of a piece of good news. So the next thing is about Elon Musk, and I love Elon Musk, and let me know down in the comments if you like Elon Musk or not. And that Elon Musk is one of his own companies that he owns started accepting Dogecoin, so he keeps pumping Dogecoin. And the Boring company, the one that he owns, it's the infrastructure and tunnel construction services company, has enabled support for Dogecoin payments. So this is pretty cool, but again, remember that I wouldn't really be buying Dogecoin just based on this news, because the Boring company isn't like this main company, which is Tesla, that has a multi-billion dollars in revenue. If Elon Musk would start accepting payments for his Tesla cars, that would be big. This would be huge volume. But for the Boring company, I wouldn't get too excited. But it still is interesting piece of news that he's actually doing something like this. So the next thing is some piece of bad news, which is Voyager, which is a huge company, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy after the big debt default from crypto hedge fund 3 Arrows Capital. So 3 Arrows Capital just went belly up, and part of those big cascading liquidations that we were seeing, and Voyager was dragged down with it. So, and as the CEO of FTX has said that many exchanges currently are secretly insolvent, basically they're not admitting it, but they have big trouble, a lot of exchanges. For that reason, there is a link to Ledger Wallet in the description of this video that you can actually get yourself this hardware wallet where you can store your crypto, which is offline, and whatever happens to the exchanges, your crypto is safe. So get it right now. It costs a little bit of money, but it's worth it in comparison to losing all your crypto. And while we are at it, also down before we move on to the next piece, which is quite huge right here, if you want to be trading yourself and taking cool trades, shorting or longing Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other altcoin, then there is $12,100 in initial deposit bonuses waiting for you down in the description of this video or in the pinned comment. $4,100 with Bybit, and also up to $8,000 with BitGet, which also has really cool copy trading feature. Well, Bybit also has copy trading feature. So enjoy, check it out, and use my links below and claim those insane bonuses and get ready for some really cool trades. And we're going to get to the trade setups in just a second. So the Bitcoin, this is a piece of good news here. So Bitcoin has been moving out of exchanges at the most aggressive rate in history. So this is pretty cool, guys and girls. So Glassnode, as they have analyzed it, despite weak price action through June, Bitcoin has been withdrawn from exchanges at the most aggressive rate in history. And in June, the volume of withdrawals was 151,000 Bitcoin. So it's like $3 billion worth of Bitcoin was withdrawn. And this is usually by the market taken as a bullish activity, so to speak, because this Bitcoin is taken out into cold storage potentially for long-term hodling, long-term investing, and so they are not going to be sold. So this is pretty cool stuff, and we've never seen this kind of volume to move out of exchanges. Now the next thing is a piece of funny news, which is crypto owners banned from working on US government crypto policies. So some discrimination going on in the most democratic country in the world. So basically, if you are a crypto owner, and then you're going to be prohibited from working on government crypto policies, you're going to be deemed as a biased individual towards crypto, which for me, it's weird. I understand it, but on the other hand, that the people who are going to be working on the crypto policies are going to be non-crypto believers and not crypto holders. This is also not very fair. So this is quite weird what's happening, but just wanted to put it out there. Now the next thing which can affect crypto quite tremendously is United Kingdom's Boris Johnson's the Prime Minister's resignation, and this may delay crypto and just general crypto legislation. And because UK and London wanted to become this hugest crypto hub, and right now with all the elections and the power shifting here and there might actually delay this from happening, and this is not very good news. So we're gonna see some times of uncertainty, and during the elections a lot of volatility comes to the markets because other people take the office that could actually have a very negative stance towards crypto. So we have to pay attention to what's going to happen with this. Next thing is some piece of good news before we get to the bad stuff. So Bitcoin could be one of the greatest bull markets. In history. So says Bloomberg analyst. So Bloomberg, they've analyzed the market as they like to do it, and one of the analysts is calling for a brewing huge bull market that is brewing and preparing for crypto, when especially going to see mass adoption and all the things that are in the works right now, like also the spot ETF, etc. And then when it's going to finally happen, and when we're going to see the next halving, it's going to just propel Bitcoin to ridiculous highs. And actually, I'm inclined to agree with him, but I know that you guys and girls are more interested in the short-term perspective. So even though we believe that Bitcoin is going to have a great bull market very soon, and within potentially a year or two, the bull market is going to start. So before then, we really want to know, whether this is it, whether this is actually the beginning of this bull market that we are currently talking about in this article. And before we get into it, let's take a look at this article. And this is something that in short-term perspective is more probable. So Bitcoin price surges to 21 whatever. Well, at this point it surged to like 20,500, but analysts warn that the move could be a fake out, and they're bringing many reasons why that is, and we're going to get to those in just a second. And quite honestly, I do agree with them. So right now, let's take a look at the technicals. And if you're going to be asking me whether I'm still in a short trade, and the answer is no, because I had a stop loss. So I was, and I'm very transparent, and for that reason, call me Mr. Spot On down in the comments, or in this instance at least Mr. Transparent, would very much appreciate it. And that's why you're following me here, because I'm not bullshitting you, I'm just telling you just the way it is. So I really believed that with the current macro environment, that this kind of a flag that we're seeing here in the 15-minute chart, which it's actually gonna break down. This was my honest expectation that I have mentioned before. So I was in a short trade from this area right here. My average entry price into a short trade was about 20,400, and then I got stopped out in this breakout that just left me hanging with a 1% loss of my entire trading deposit. So usually I really like to take free trades, right? To like to take a small loss, but this time it was a full-on 1% loss, unfortunately. So I cannot really say that I misread the market, because we're gonna go all over all the things and try to conclude whether this is a real breakout. But for me, I really, the probabilities that were telling us of the chances of the next market move were all for another dump, or at least a short opportunity, a shorting opportunity. But sometimes, even a probability of like 20%, if I would be crazy enough to make this kind of an estimate, there was a probability of about 20% that is going to break above, and it did. So we did bet on a probability of about 80% is going to break down, but we were wrong in this instance. So it is what it is. So at this point, let's get to the actual analysis. And yes, right now, so I'm not in a long trade, I'm not in a short trade, I'm currently observing, and let me explain what I'm observing. So number one, we always have to take a look at the volume, and we're gonna see that actually here we had, a massive candle which took us to about 21,800. We had some volume, but again, it's even less than here, and so the volume itself, small increase certainly is enough for some kind of a technical short-term relief rally, maybe, yes, absolutely, but it's not really that spectacular. So if we're gonna go to the daily chart, you're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about. It's actually going down, even though we saw this small spike in volume yesterday, but in comparison, it just pales in comparison to previous price action. And volume is currently telling me that the bears are actually still dominating. So let's take a look at the EMA ribbon, which is gonna come in as a huge trouble for Bitcoin right now, that we are already seeing some kind of a tiny rejection right here. And remember that the daily EMA ribbon has rejected the price in this bear market multiple times, and this is the zone that is going to be really hard for Bitcoin to get past, because I know that a lot of the moon boys and all the a lot of YouTubers are calculating their targets in this kind of a ridiculous way. They're going to tell you that the target is about $26,000, which again, can it reach 26K with this breakout as just a small relief rally? The answer is yes, and the answer is yes to really any probability, but you have to understand the actual scale of a certain probability, meaning that the chances that it's gonna actually dance around here and actually gonna chop back down or even go down from here, the probabilities are far higher than it's suddenly just going through all of this resistance in the current macro environment with everything that the Fed is doing, the quantitative tightening, the money printers being off, everything is just being terrible. We're seeing deleveraging events and cascading liquidations and all of that, and then suddenly we're seeing Bitcoin going to 26, 30, whatever $1,000. It's just not probable. Is it possible? Yes, but it's just not probable. So the first point of big resistance, we're already hitting it right here with the EMA ribbon, and certainly we have to remember that we will have a very important resistance coming in right now, and it's already coming in, and potentially that's what's pushing us down. That is the 200 moving average from the weekly chart, and look, we just hit it spot on right here. So it was always very, very important for us, and that is what's coming in to haunt Bitcoin at this point. So this is very important to understand. And also, if we're going to take a look at the BBWP in the daily, it's quite, it's looking a little bit like we've seen previously in this area, in this pump and this fake out, you could call it, and the same is right here. So we are sort of moving higher, but there is just no spontaneous huge increase in volatility, at least volatility that would tell me that this is an incredible breakout that we're currently seeing. So the next thing I really wanted to talk to you about is also S&P 500. That, let's turn off the volume, it's irrelevant in this instance. We're gonna see that S&P 500 in the daily chart is currently in this kind of a downward channel. So I'm thinking that S&P 500, it also might reach the target for S&P is right around 4,000 in this area right here, and we might actually see another rejection from it here going downwards, because I don't believe that S&P 500 has at this point hit its bottom. I think we're going to go much lower in S&P 500, and certainly it's going to drag Bitcoin down with it. So that's also another huge risk for Bitcoin, obviously. So for this particular reason, if we're going to rally higher, so be it. I'm going to just take it with a grain of salt, and I'm going to keep watching the market, and quite honestly, I'm going to still stay short bias, and I'm going to try to find myself a better shorting opportunity, and give it another try at shorting, because we are going to see a lot of resistance also coming in at this level right here, just because of the volume profile, some volume standing there. And then obviously if we're going to break above 23K in this region, then we potentially are going to retest $26,000. But if that's going to happen, this is where I'm going to definitely be shorting Bitcoin. I'm going to be shorting it either in Bybit or in BitGet. Remember, about $12,000 in bonuses down in the description or in the pinned comment. And here you can check out a full Bybit tutorial on how to use Bybit, how to deposit money, how to withdraw money, how to actually place a trade, how to use leverage properly and responsibly so you don't lose all your money fast. And yeah, so all of that right there, check it out. Leave me some comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.